Our Verge Ausberry, who is the Executive Deputy Director of Athletics over at LSU, is a great resource for this because he's a player, was a player for the Tigers, and has been serving in the executive role since then. And now, as we said, the Deputy Director of Athletics joining us here on Off the Bench, ESPN, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and Alexandria. Verge, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Jordy. How y'all doing today?
Doing good. Thank you for your time as always. Can,
Great.
can, can you tell me into some of the conversations that you've had with student athletes? Because you've got great relationships with the guys. And let's just go football, but I know that you speak to a lot of people in the athletic department, a lot of the student athletes. But just some of the conversations that you've had with guys, whether they're high-end players or whether they're trying to earn a spot and just kind of trying to get ready for this season from a mental standpoint.
Jordy, it's a little bigger than that also. I have discussions with, all our athletes, about 500 in total, the men athletes, the women athletes, and they talk about, really, I know what's coming out right now with the players, the demands, the Pac-12 situation that came out last night. I had a chance to review that and read those demands. But, talking to our kids here, we hadn't got to that point or into that level of conversations. Our conversations, with the football guys, they want to get back on the field. They want to play. Even the guys who are high potential draft picks, they want to have a football season. We're talking to our women athletes. They want to come back. They want to compete. You remember most of them missed their whole spring, their whole seasons last year. So there's been a lot of adjustments for them, especially mentally. And, Jordan, in our business, we do. We are educators and business people on the other end, but we are educators, and we worry about the mental health and worry about the health of our athletes, and that's what we're really doing, talking to those young men and women about right now.
I can't imagine the questions that you get on what the fall is going to look like, because I was at the beach this weekend and people, that's all they were talking about is whether a football season is going to exist or not. How many plans did you look at, talk about every day? How much uncertainty is there in your day-to-day operations?
Well, that there's nothing but uncertainty right now, Jordy. And I would tell you this here: Greg Sankey, our commissioner, did a great job in leading us through this process and helping us get to this process and get to where we are today. It's very difficult to do this. There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of uncertainty. And this area is day by day. Things are changing so fast one way or the other. What phase we want to be in, those type of things. But, the most part we're thinking about the student athletes and how could we have a football season if we have one. There's always three options on the table. Everybody's going through it. Do you play 12 games the whole season? Do you play, 8 games and 2 non-conference games? Or do you just try to get 10 conference games and back the year up some like we did? And that's what, the AD is recommended and the president has voted on. And, that was where we get 10, quality games in the SEC this year and make it fair across the board all the way. So that's why we decided to do that. But to say there's anything after that, would definitely start on a certain date or definitely have a season, everything's up in the air right now. We have all options. I think we have all options on the table of what's going to happen next.
Is there a drop dead date where all this stuff just falls off the table?
No, I don't think there's that. And that's why I think that's what uncertainty comes in at, Jordy. I think, I tell people, I see guys out there, people making comments about, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. Jordy, right now, nobody knows what's going to happen. And I always tell people they are there saying this is going to happen, or that's going to happen. They're not telling the truth because really nobody knows.
Talking to Verge Ausberry, Executive Deputy Director of Athletics at LSU. Verge, when you look around kind of professional sports right now and you see like the success of the NBA versus maybe these struggles that the MLB is going through right now, it seems like one side had a much more codified plan, the other side maybe a little more seat of its pants. What is the SEC doing right now in terms of safety protocol and the pandemic age to try to make sure that not just LSU, because LSU's protocols have been great, they've been very effective. What about the league as a whole? How are they trying to keep the entire SEC safe?
I think the league is doing the right thing. They're working with every individual school. And all those situations are different. Major League Baseball, there's some things, underlying issues that happen there that called discipline that got them where they are right now. The NBA guys are in the bubble, a little more discipline. The SEC is working with all of us individually. We have the best team in place, one of the best teams in place in the country. Dr. Katie O'Neill, who's in infectious disease at the Light of the Lake, and Shelley Mullinex, leading our charge here. And, this happens, what if this happens? There's so many questions that could happen, and so many things that could arise. So it's very hard to say, the whole the conference is doing everything for every school. Every school has to have a plan in place for this and how we're going to handle this. And if you have an outbreak of things of that nature, and, right now we're in great shape. So there's so many things on the table. I hate that, I can't give you that definite answer about, what if this happened. We're very comfortable at LSU in our plan and what we're doing. And I can't speak for Alabama or Georgia or Tennessee, but at LSU, we're very comfortable in what we're doing, trying to protect our student athletes.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll see how that spins out over time, given that, if you have to go play like a Kentucky or something along those lines. Verge, what about so the start date gets pushed back to September 26th, and you hear that, you're like, okay, great. And then you realize, oh, wait, that's like another month to get ready for the season. Do you have any insight into what LSU plans on doing with those extra weeks leading up to that first planned game?
Yeah, I think we're going to practice like normal, and I think Coach was smart about it. He's not going to be out there beating and killing his team. I think right now, T-Bob, this is a former player. It's all mental right now.
Yeah.
You get this late in the year, you can't have another spring practice. That's not smart. The thing you do now is get your team mentally prepared to play. You have a new quarterback, the timing with receivers, those type of things, and they'll be working on those type of deals. But you're not going to practice like 2 a days, 5 days a week, 6 days a week.
Yeah.
The thing you're going to do now is pretty much go to what we did for the bowl. This is similar to what we did to get prepared for the SEC Championship and Bowl and National Championship. We had so long of a wait between games and time. So that's how, Coach O is going to be smart about this, and that's how he's going to handle this. And, we're going to make sure that we're fresh. We have a very good football team this year. They're going to surprise a lot of people. I mean, it might be better in some places than we were last year, especially on the defense side of the ball. So I think that's one thing that Coach talked about. He want to be fresh. You want to keep the kids, mentally prepared and mentally ready. And you want to keep them up. You want to keep their spirits up. You don't go in there and beat a football team down to death and, not ready for the football season.
Yeah, I love the fact that people are sleeping on this team, especially nationally. People are expecting, because of the draft day and because of the losses of players last year, that LSU is going to be this totally new team. Verge, does it ultimately come down to the states and the decisions they make?
A lot of it will be. And, that's when you talk about, the SEC, it really comes down to the state and where we are as a state. And, that's what I tell people here, Jordy, discipline yourself, social distancing, wear your mask, do those things. Those numbers have to go the other way. Those numbers are not going the correct way. We're getting better in Louisiana, but we need to go better, go lower. And that's very important to us, those numbers. And, what phase we in. Phase 2 right now, that's what we are as a state. And hopefully, at some time in September, to move into phase 3. You have to worry about, everybody's coming back to campus, coming back to school. You have all the students coming back. You have Southerners coming back. You have the community colleges coming back. You have kids going to school. So there's a lot of opportunities for the virus to spread if we're not disciplined. We're talking to our players about being disciplined. Where you go, where you travel at. They're off this week, and, take care of yourselves. Make sure you're doing the right things, the proper things. And we tell them that so you can have a good football season, everybody's healthy.
Man, I'm bummed for Nicholls State and Coach Rebo and his program. What have those conversations been like? I know it's out of your control, but you were looking forward to getting those guys into Tiger Stadium as much as they were looking forward to making the trip.
Yeah, especially our in-state schools. And, right now, that's just conversations we're having, and we're going to talk to them this week, all of our non-conference opponents, and see what we could do in the future on the scheduling and things of that nature. But it really, it happened so fast. We're preparing right now for the 10 games. That's where we are, and we're preparing our players and our team and our coaches and just getting things ready, making sure all our other sports who are here right now, making sure they're healthy and getting ready for their seasons and their workouts and things of that nature.
Verge, what about when you look at like season ticket holders and fans, and it's all time since it's still up in the air, but like kind of where y'all heads at right now when it comes to people in Tiger Stadium this fall?
We want many fans there as possible. Okay, let's start off like that. And like I said, it depends on what phase we're in. That's going to determine a lot how we have people enter the stadium. And there are people saw the letter that Scott put out there, the 3 options people are going to have, and we'll start working on the details of those options. Like I said, things have just happened, so we already had the plan in place. It's, now go forward and put all the details to it. There's people out there. I tell people, my parents are 85 and 89. That's high risk category. That's not, wouldn't say they're going to come to a football game this year. I think some things would be on your risk and prepare yourself and stay healthy. But, we just got to prepare what phase we're going to be in. And once phase we're in, we're going from there. Dan Gasson, one of our senior social athletic directors, he has been working on the plan with our people here, with state officials, about what phase we're going to be in and where we go from there. So I think it's just going to be timing. I think September 26th we'll know a lot. And like I said, it's hard to plan. Things are changing from day to day, and week to week. So I think moving it back to September 26th gives us some time here to look at things and see where we are and where we will be as a state.
Give me one name to watch out for in fall camp. One new name that's jumped out to you.
One new name this year, Butte, the receiver, my homeboy from New Iberia.
I love it.
That's what I'm going to go with this year.
I love it. Kayshawn Butte, a 5-star wide receiver from South Louisiana. Always good to catch up with you, Verge. Thank you for the time this morning.
Jordan T-Bob, good talking to you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you so much, Verge.
There he is, Executive Deputy Director of Athletics, Verge Ausberry, stopping by here on Off the Bench. We will close out hour 1 here on ESPN Baton Rouge.